Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to be going over a couple different cardiorespiratory fitness protocols that you can use in or around your neighborhood at a local track. You don't need any laboratory equipment or metabolic carts to measure your predicted uh, VO2 max. So the first one we're going to discuss is the 1 mile steady state jog. You can use, again, any local track, like a 400-meter track. You're going to be doing this for 1 mile, so 400 meters, you're going to be doing 4 laps of that to equal 1,600 meters. And the other one we're going to talk about is the 1 mile Rockport walking test. And this one, again, it's going to be a prediction of your VO2 max. So it's not going to give you super accurate results, but it's going to let you know where you stand without using any expensive equipment or metabolic carts, things that a normal person is not going to have available to them. So both of these tests are submaximal tests. That means that throughout the test, you're most likely not going to reach your maximum heart rate. So, for instance, I'm 34 years old. My predicted max heart rate is 186. So, at any point throughout the 1 mile run, I'm not going to reach 186 beats per minute because I'm not going to be able to sustain that for one full mile. Um, And then once you complete both of these, the walk or the jog test, you're going to be able to take your run time and your heart rate once complete, and you're going to be able to plug it in to an equation that I'm gonna put it in the description link below this video. That way, if you guys are feeling antsy and you want to go out and do it, then you can get your results, plug it in the equation, and get your predicted VO2 max. Um, so the recommendations for a healthy individual, for males, you want to do it in about 8 minutes for the mile or less time, and for females, it's 9 minutes or less. Again, these are just recommendations. If your performance isn't quite there yet, then it's not a big deal. You can work at it, you can get your numbers down, I promise. I'm an old man and I can still run pretty fast, so just take your time. All right, so before you even begin your 1 mile tests, you want to ensure that your muscles, your ligaments, your lungs are all primed and ready to go, warmed up before you start the protocol. So what we're going to do is we want to do some dynamic stretching. We don't want to do static stretching. So dynamic stretching is going to help you warm up those ligaments and tendons, and it's going to get the blood flowing to the muscles that you're going to be using. So once you start, you're already kind of in that mode to get into a solid pace that you can sustain. So I'm going to demonstrate a couple of dynamic stretches that I like to do personally. You might have a couple different ones depending on your age or your flexibility, things like that. So ones that I like to do some anterior leg lifts, walking leg lifts. And you want to keep your leg as straight as possible. So I'm targeting my hamstrings and my glutes. So these help when you are going and it helps you lengthen your stride when you're running. You don't want to have short, choppy steps when you're running. One, you're not allowing your body to have a natural stride. And two, you're just taking more steps than you need to. You're not allowing your muscles to stretch fully and contract fully. And then other ones I like to do a lateral kind of stretch, get my hip flexors involved, because your hip flexors, your hamstrings, your calves, those are going to be the main movers, the agonist muscles that allow you to perform this test in the most efficient manner. Again, when you are done with the test, you don't want to just sit on the ground either. You want to keep walking around, catch your breath after you get your heart rate, obviously. But yeah, don't sit down, because then what your muscles are going to want to do, because they're tired, they're going to want to tighten up. They're not going to maintain that elasticity or distensibility. So keep walking around, catch your breath. Once you have caught in your breath, then you can start your static stretching. These are the stretches that you want to do post-exercise. Pretty much anything you do after any exercise, you want to do a static stretch. Static just means not moving. So the ones that I can do, and you can do at home, you can do some hamstring stretches. Keep your legs generally straight, and then you want to hinge at your hips and reach down, keep your back straight. Try and keep your head above your heart. And you're just going to reach, and you're going to feel that stretch in your hamstrings. And you want to do about 3 or 4 sets of static stretches per stretch. So if I was going to do the standing hamstring stretch, I would want to do it in sets of 4 for no longer than 15 to 20 seconds. You want to hold it for about 15 or 20 seconds. Kind of relax, shake it out, wait about 10 or 15 seconds, then go again, and that'll be my second set. So it's really important to do your stretches, pre and post exercise. You don't want to, this is going to prevent injuries. So if your muscles aren't primed and they're really tight, and then you go and do another like explosive moment soon after, your muscles are going to likely, in your tendons and ligaments, they're likely going to get strained or even tear. And we don't want that. We don't want any ruptures. We don't want any injuries, because then that's just going to get you in a position where you're not going to have any improvements in your fitness at all. So it is important, crucially important, to do your stretches, even though they seem monotonous and boring. I promise you, you're gonna see a difference in the long run. So again, I'm gonna put the equations down in the description box below the video, and then you can put in your time and your heart rate, and then you can get your predicted VO2 max. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but once you finish the test, it is crucial that you take your heart rate immediately following the run or the walk. If you wait a minute, the first minute or two, your heart rate slows dramatically. So as soon as you finish, you want to take your heart rate. So to take your heart rate, there are 2 different locations. Well, there are more than 2, but we're gonna stick with 2 just for this video. We have the carotid artery, which is in between the sternocleidomastoid muscle and your esophagus, or your trachea right there. So what you want to do is you want to place 2 fingers, your index and your middle finger, and you want to place it right in between the trachea and your sternocleidomastoid right there, this muscle right here. You want to place it right in there, and you're going to feel your heartbeat. And what you want to do is, once you start your timer, count how many beats there are in a 15-second interval. Once you count how many beats are in that 15-second interval, multiply that by 4, because there are 4 15-minute sections in a minute, and you will get your beats per minute. Now, the other location that we can do is the radial artery. So the radial artery is going to be between your radial bone right here, and then about a fourth of the way in, or directly below the pollex muscle right here. And then you're going to do the same thing. 2 fingers, count how many beats. Can you see that? Count how many beats in a 15-second interval, multiply it by 4, and you're going to get your beats per minute. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below, and I will try and get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks. Have fun running.